Okay, today's video, we are going to talk about something called Google Local Campaigns, which for most of you guys out there, you can't do this. So I don't want to waste too much of your time if you hopped on this video and are looking for a new money-making opportunity, but you're basically just dabbling in PPC. For you guys who found this video pretty much because you got an alert in your account saying you could run these kind of campaigns, this is more so what this video is specifically for. Of course, if you want to watch this video anyway, I guarantee you're going to get a bunch of insights on how to do PPC right, on Google search campaigns, and the like, to where you absolutely aren't going to be really wasting your time. But just to let you know up front, most of the conversation is centered around a campaign type that's only available for certain advertisers itself. And with that, I'll explain why it doesn't work, what are your better alternatives, which is running regular search campaigns, and why regular search campaigns are better. And of course, if all you can run is regular search campaigns, you're going to know how to do those to actually make money for the most part if you're just getting started and that's all that's available to you. So with that said, I'll get right into the content. Basically the people who can actually do these Google local campaigns are people who have 10 locations on Google My Business, basically. If you have that, you should be able to have something in your account that pops up that says, hey, you can do Google local campaigns, and gives you the option to do so. So, and what these actual Google local campaigns are, it's a campaign type that's totally unique, and it combines the following campaign types kind of in one. Search campaigns, which search plus, or slash map, ads, which search campaigns, if you link Google My Business to Google Ads, you get map ads or ads on, Google My Business or on the maps just by running the search campaigns and running location extensions. Display campaigns, and then YouTube campaigns. This is actually somewhat similar to PMax. What PMax was trying to do, making it more simplistic for businesses, and I understand why Google's doing this. They want people, the average person doing Google Ads isn't the maniac who watches this channel and wants to get super rich. They want a simple, of course they want to make money, but they want a simple 5-minute solution that gets them results. And I can tell you, and I have told you guys many times on this channel, if you subscribe to it already, there's no free lunch. Generally speaking, everybody wants one ad they can set up one time and that's it, and they're going to make millions. Very rarely does it happen unless you've got something totally groundbreaking, life-changing solution that everybody already wants. If you're in a competitive market with kind of a Me Too solution, you're going to have to put some actual work in to make those kind of results. They're absolutely available to anybody, but you're going to have to put some time in to watch some of these videos and tell you how we're doing it to guarantee the results for our clients, so you can just replicate it for yourself. Of course, if you could just reach out to our firm and would do it for you, but at the very least, you could do all this stuff yourself, and it's not rocket science. You just got to know the stuff that works versus doesn't work. Anyway, with that said, it combines all these campaign types, and with that, it's supposed to, you're not paying for a click, so to say, anymore. You're paying, the idea is that you're paying for traffic to your brick and mortar shop, of course. And you're paying for people that are going to get driving directions, and people who are requesting to call first, that kind of thing. I'll go into the exact details on that. But that's the general idea of this campaign. So you could start something up that supposedly will run just on all Google properties, YouTube, everything. And with that, it'll just drive traffic to your store. Now, like I said, this campaign tip with all other campaign types, you're trying to drive traffic to a landing page. Of course, if you're not talking about lead ads or anything about that, like that. So what you are paying for is something different. Instead of paying for clicks, you're paying for people that click on the Google Maps ad, if you will, or ad itself. People who click to request driving directions, store visits, and so-called call clicks. And this isn't calls. This is people who click to want to call, click on the phone number to request the phone number itself, and import it into their phone app on their phone or whatnot if you're on a mobile device, and and then ultimately want to call, but it's no indication if they're going to actually call. We'll just put it that way. Of course, with the driving directions, that's no indication they're coming in. Store visits is supposed to be, obviously that's a person that actually came to your store, but it's not, Google doesn't publish how they're tracking this. Of course, I know how. They got these any app that Google owns or has access to through buying third-party data through that app, they can tell when you get to your store because the app posts information back about GPS coordinates back to Google, and then they know the GPS coordinates of your business because when you set up your Google My Business profile, they knew the GPS coordinates of your business. And then when those same GPS coordinates match up with somebody that has seen your ad later, they know there's a store visit there. So essentially they're kind of spying on the user to tell you when they got a store visit. Now, in theory, if that's how it actually works, it's fucking awesome because that's the exact type of thing I would want to see from Google here. But in reality, it's like you are totally trusting the people came in. It would be like, of course everybody trusts Google, and Google don't come after me for saying this, but if a random guy came into your store and said that they're going to drive for $3,000 a month, they're going to drive 100 people to your business, but you're just going to have to trust me that they came in. Trust me, dude. And that's basically what you're doing with Google. You don't really know if they came in or not. So to go along with that, why is it, here's the crux of the situation. Why is it that Google is required, if this is so groundbreaking, revolutionary, that you're paying for actual, results, actual, actions, if you will, why is it the requirement is you got to have 10 business locations? Why don't they let people do this for one brick and mortar store? Of course, they could certainly say that this is in beta and they're testing it out, but in reality, it makes me think that if you have 10 stores, the person that's advertising is never going to be able to keep tab on how many people are coming into your store. So if you saw in your stats that you paid for 10 people to come into your store and you didn't get that because you were at the shop all day, you'd be pissed and then you would shut the ads off. You might speak out about it. So I don't want to say that's what's going on, okay? I'm just saying there's a saying, in business that you shouldn't blindly trust, you should trust plus then also verify. But in this situation, we can't verify anything. We just have to trust. So, do what you will to decide if you want to trust this or not on how many people came into your store. That's up to you. I'm just saying the average person should at least be skeptical about the situation just because it's good to be skeptical in business. Now, on top of that, okay, I can tell you from personal experience, looking at dozens of accounts, because I've worked on hundreds of accounts over the last 15 years doing PPC management for people. I've looked at hundreds and hundreds, if not 1,000+ accounts, just in the accounts I look over but don't take the business. I look at the conversion tracking always. This is the first thing I always look into because I want to know how the ads are producing. I can see Google creates these auto-generated goals in the conversion menu for tracking drive and direction clicks. And people clicking to clicks to call via the Google My Business listing, and I'm very, very skeptical that those stats are right. In fact, enough so that when we have to guarantee results for our client, we totally exclude that extra data because the numbers they're just too good to be true, and I've seen enough accounts that we don't count it. I never did count it, and then once I seen enough of it, it confirmed for me that I don't want to look at that. I need to be able to know by using something like Google, ads and Google Analytics conversion tracking and a combination of using like CallRail to track the calls and that kind of thing. That stuff's pretty accurate, but just the data that's coming from Google My Business, we don't trust that. Not to mention, if somebody clicks driving direction on a Google Maps listing, you certainly could just be doing that to see how far it's going to be and then just not drive there, obviously, right? At the very, very least, if it's accurate and you can rely on it, you're going to get a bunch of people clicking that and maybe 1 out of 5 actually drives all the way there. So respectively, what you're paying for, i.e. a click on a driving directions button, A, may not even be accurate. B, of the people you're paying for, it's probably firmly diluted with people that don't actually come to your store. So the cost is inflated for what you actually get. We'll just say that. So me myself, I'm not gonna basically plan a campaign around bidding for people on this Google Maps campaign or Google Maps effectively ad that they're pushing out on all these other platforms. People clicking on driving directions, looking at store visits, click to call, that kind of thing. Store visits, I'm going to rely on more, but still not going to be that accurate. I'm not going to rely on that number itself because the numbers look, as a whole, too good to be true at looking over stuff. The store visits would be the best. I'm definitely not going to trust the clicks to call and driving directions, basically at all. It's a nice fundamental side metric, but I'm not going to say, oh, I know because every person who comes to the store, we usually get a 50% purchase rate, and they usually spend an average of $79, and therefore I could pay $49 $40 to pay to get that person into the store, and therefore I'll pay $40 for every time somebody clicks driving directions, because the stats, the baseline stats, I don't trust them. Basically, we'll just leave it at that. What I do absolutely want to be able to boil everything that I'm doing down to how much can I pay to get someone in my store, and then come up with effective ways to measure what it costs to bring someone in my store, so I know when I'm profitable, so I'm not just pissing money away with a negative ROI. But on top of it, when I am profitable, I could scale and scale profitably as well, because I know what cost per store visit that I can't go over before I start losing money. That's how the big boys play that really make millions and millions of dollars at PPC. They're working it down to numbers. They're not just guessing. They're actually mathematically calculating it, and then they're going ahead and they're trying every strategy they can get that gets them a cost per conversion at that number that they need to get. So anyway, with all that said, all this nebulous driving direction clicks, click to call clicks, which are not actual calls, not actual people driving in. We don't know how to verify someone actually came to our store or not, because there's 10 plus stores. There's no way to verify this. There's a much better option would be to create separate specialized campaigns that will send people to an actual landing page that you own and control, that you can measure directly what the performance on that landing page is, okay, for a number of different reasons, which I'm going to go into next, okay? Of which the first one, the biggest one, we'll just say a bigger reason why you want to use separate campaigns, running a separate, instead of a Google local campaign, you run a Google search campaign, and then if you did want to run display ads, you'd run a separate display campaign and a separate YouTube campaign. The first reason why you do this separately is you could tell exactly how much brand you are paying for, because this is a convenient little thing that Google doesn't mention in any of the documentation that they're going to give you about Google local campaigns, is how much brand traffic are you actually paying for to get to come back to your store. Of course, I mentioned many times on this channel, there's nothing wrong with running brand ads and paying, you should spend your money to get people who already know about you to come into your store first, because until you've exploited all those opportunities, there's no business going after new customers, because it's cheaper to go after existing customers and get them back at a higher rate. And people think, well, they would have came in anyway. No, if you have a 1,000 customer list and you spend time marketing that list, you'll get more customers, you'll get more lifetime value out of each one of those customers marketing to that list than if you didn't market to the list. And then those customers will come in at a cheaper price per customer than other people that don't know about you. So you start with your house, marketing to your house list of your current customers. That's just smart, business practices. But as you're doing this Google local campaign, they don't tell you how much of it is just, brand. Therefore, basically speaking, you don't even know what you're getting. And some of you guys certainly don't want to be able to pay Google to get somebody who's Googling, of course, that already knows of you to basically come back to your store. So that's just one, I call it a bigger issue, because for me, it's still not that big of an issue, because I'll pay for every person to come back that already does business with me as I can, just to make sure the lifetime value of every customer I get goes up another notch. But for you, a lot of you guys, that's going to be a deal killer. You don't know how much of it could be half or more is just brand traffic. And the reason why I say half or more is because when we run search campaigns by themselves, I see people set up sloppy search campaigns, and half or more of the clicks they're getting is just from brand. They go, ooh, these campaigns are, give me 1,000% ROI, but 95% of the returns coming from their brand searches. So it's very, convenient, if you will, for Google to do that because it makes their advertising look like it works, and they didn't really have to try very hard. So take it for what you will. Second, see how many conversions you can actually get. So what I mean by this is, with that, you can set up a landing page. If you run a regular search campaign or YouTube campaign or display campaign, you drive traffic to a landing page you own and control on your domain, or hosted, somewhere else, but it's on your domain. You can set up Google Analytics goal tracking on it. You can set up Google Ads goal tracking on it. And you could, for the most part, rely, when it says you got to call, particularly when you, instead of using Google Ads call tracking, use a different call tracking, third-party call tracking provider, of which I would recommend CallRail, because CallRail is the most reliable one that I back, and they're not financing me here. I legitimately use CallRail every time, and there's no reason for me to use anything else because it's the most reliable out there. Mostly everybody in the industry agrees that, or is in the marketing space, that's doing what we do here. But with that, CallRail will record physically every single call that comes in, if you want them to, of course. But so when Google Ads says somebody clicked on your ad and called, I could go verify that call in CallRail and see that it actually happened and if they actually bought. So I don't have to pay for clicks to call. I could pay, just if somebody actually called and know they actually called, because I could cross-reference the call in my call tracking software. If you want to know how to do that, by the way, just leave me a comment. I'll explain it further. But I can see if I got a call and if I did not. I could see if somebody filled out the contact form and if I did not. I could actually see if somebody clicked on my button offering driving directions. So at the very least, yes, I can't, that doesn't prove somebody came in, but at least I know for sure, because I've got a trackable link there, somebody actually did click on it, versus taking Google's word that they clicked on the driving directions button, which again, I'm just fully blindly trusting Google at that point. Google's the number one platform that we back for everybody at our PPC agency. But with that said, when the person selling you the advertising is also the one telling you how well it works, and you have no way to cross-reference that, that's a bad position to kind of be in. That's why we use CallRail, to kind of cross-reference calls coming in, to see if they actually come in. And if when a form lead comes in, we obviously know how to cross-reference that because we can go check the form leads. When you're in a position where you don't know if the lead was good or not, or if it even came in, that's a bad position to put yourself in. So anyway, you could track literally, driving direction clicks, form fills, phone calls, online purchases, all of it, if you just set up your own landing page. And then, like I said, going back to what I said earlier, you should become a mathematician, in your business when you're starting out doing PPC. You should figure out if you're generating leads, how many leads it takes to get a sale. What's the lifetime value of a customer once they make the average amount of purchases over their lifetime? Okay, what's your margins? Break it all down to a certain cost per lead that you could pay, that after all your product costs or service delivery costs or whatever, you're going to end up with the profit margin you want. And then you set up a landing page that tracks everything coming in, what's a lead, what's not a lead, and then you run your ads. You look to see if you hit your number. If you don't hit your number, you peel back parts of your account that don't work to get you to your number, and then you start to scale your account. That's the process of winning with PPC. Doing Google local campaigns, this is impossible. So you're just, throwing money, basically up into the wind and hoping it all works. Well, that's a really dumb idea. At least, if it were our only choice, I would say probably, better. It's certainly better than nothing. But we have better options. We can do this, very scientific approach of doing just what I said, of knowing what numbers we need to hit, tracking everything, knowing if we hit the numbers or not, and then being able to take a plan of action to course correct to get to where we need to be. The third thing to mention here, which a lot of you guys wouldn't have thought of, but if you were going to do this, is you want to make sure that you are getting the right clientele to your business, not just clientele in general. And you're saying, well, any money is good money, right? Well, no, not really. When you consider two things here, if Google, let's say you had a Italian restaurant, but basically it's a 5-star restaurant, right? Google and their algorithm that runs the Google local campaigns for you thinks when somebody types in the name of basically a 3-star Italian restaurant in your area, should show your ad directly next to the Google map, because a lot of times what will happen with these Google local campaigns is on Google Maps, where that Italian restaurant is on Google Maps, under where the description and all that is, it'll have your ad posted there. Similar to kind of how Yelp tries to do it, but Yelp ads suck, which I should make a video just on that, but I figured I didn't have to because enough people know it sucks that to not basically do it. But in this particular situation, do you want the person who wanted the 3-star Italian restaurant by name to come to your restaurant? If they come to your restaurant, you say, well, if they came to our restaurant, they're going to buy something. Well, certainly they could get there and take up a table space, which if you have a good restaurant, you're already fully booked up on busy nights. And now you got somebody taking up table space that's going to order spaghetti because they can't afford a $50 plate of food. Or they got there and they turned around when they realized this is above their budget. This is a restaurant that they know is too expensive for them. So there's multiple things that could happen there. But then on top of it, they could leave you a bad review. What they think they should have got for the money that they're paying should have been better. It's not your ideal clientele. And that actually hurts you worse than the person that just didn't end up making you very much money. Oh, okay, you didn't make any money on that customer. Versus a bad review, that could lose you $1,000+ in future lifetime revenue by having that one asshole that came in there thinking that, that just doesn't go to 5-star restaurants, came in here thinking that they should get something they didn't get. And they only were there in the first place because they got recommended by Google, at an opportunistic time to get them to come to your restaurant. So that's basically one scenario where that shows that ultimately with this Google local campaign that doesn't have any levers for you to optimize, you're giving it all the controls away over to Google. They could get you the unideal customers you don't want. Versus if you have a regular search campaign, if you wanted to show up near your competitors, which is obviously a good idea, you can hand pick the competitors you want your ad to show up next to, all the other 5-star restaurants in the city. And then you could get, you obviously know you're getting the right clientele. Of the people that you're paying good money for to get, it's all people that you actually want, not a mixture of good and bad. So why compromise and get good and bad just because you don't want to put a little bit of time in to set up your campaign forever, basically, over the next years, when you could spend a little bit of time, set it up right, and then just get good customers from then on. So that's another big reason that you would want to just go with separate campaigns that you could basically dictate exactly how they need to operate. Search campaigns and, of course, display campaigns, YouTube campaigns, if you also wanted it. Which brings me into my next point here, which is the last reason here why you'd want to run separate search campaigns versus these Google local campaigns, which is you could just focus on search campaigns. For most of you guys starting out, 99% of you guys, I should say, starting out, you're going to just start with search campaigns. You're not going to do display campaigns. You're not going to do a YouTube campaigns, at least until you've exploited all possible opportunities from search for a local business, because that's all low-hanging fruit. Once you eventually extract all that potential value for people searching and looking for your services or your products locally, or a competitor who's a direct competitor with you, in your area, then you can get into running so-called display ads on Google Display Network, on YouTube, and with Google local campaigns, they're giving you the display and the YouTube all in one. So if you're on a limited budget and you're not spending the unlimited amount of spend that Google says you can spend on your Google local campaigns, then you'd be better off coming back or scaling back on that to just do just a search campaign by itself until that can't get you any more business, and then move forward with display advertising or on YouTube ads. As a side, once you actually set up your search campaigns, because I mentioned on search campaigns, if you just set up Google Maps or Google My Business for your business and link that to Google Ads, if you're getting the alert in your campaigns, in your Google Ads account saying you can do Google local campaigns, you've already done that. But your search campaigns itself, will get you showing on Google Maps as well. So you're already on Maps and search just by running search ads. When you eventually do want to get to expand beyond that search/map ads in your market, you could run the display and the YouTube campaigns. And the number one thing that's going to work there for you for a local brick and mortar shop is the competitor campaigns again. You're going to create something called a custom intent audience, which you could just Google that or find the custom intent audience video I made about that on this particular channel. You're going to type in basically all the ways that people refer to your brand in Google and say when anybody searches for anybody in the area with these terms here, or they go to my competitor's website, then I want an opportunity to have my ad show up for them later. And so with that, you can have a banner ad essentially show up for everybody who types in a competitor while they're on crosswords.com, CNN.com, whatever. And on the YouTube side, you could do the same thing. You could, if somebody's been to your competitor's website or typed in your competitor on Google recently, you could have a YouTube ad show up for them as well. So, and the way that you really extract value from that is you go ahead and you create unique creative for every competitor, and you say why you're better than that competitor, which some people don't want to do that, but I can tell you it works. It's like it's doing the method on steroids at that point. It's going to work 5 times better essentially if you write down in a spreadsheet, like we'll do for our clients, every single direct competitor that competes with you in your local market. And then on the second column, what do you actually do that's better than that individual competitor? And then you create a set of banner ads saying why you're better than that competitor, so that when they search for that competitor, they're going to see your banner ads saying why you're better than that competitor, and then you're going to drive them to your landing page on your site. You could even drive them back to a specialized landing page saying, continuing to say why you're better, which would get you the maximum return from this. And then on the YouTube ad side, you create a video saying why you're better than that competitor. And so if they're on YouTube, they'll see that video. But you don't just have one set of creative for all competitors. You do unique creative for every competitor. And if you want to take it to the maximum degree, you have a unique landing page for every competitor. If I'm running any kind of local shop, I'm 110% doing this, and all the way. Why? Because there's only so many mint opportunities in my local market to advertise. Going back to my Italian restaurant example, there's only, when somebody searches for my direct competitor's Italian restaurant, I want to absolutely fucking pound the advertising towards that person, because of all the people I can advertise to, that's the best of the best of the best of the best opportunity. The person who already spends a shitload of money at my competitor. At that point, I want to barrage them with advertising. And of course, if I just say, we're an Italian restaurant, that will help. I will take it if that's all I had. But I can literally say, if you like, this company, you'll love us. And probably get that person. And slowly, cherry pick customers away from that competitor one by one by one. And have an automatic machine going all the time doing it for me. Like I have a sales staff going 24/7 for me, doing that. So absolutely I'm doing that before I do, a listing in the local deal section in the newspaper, which in comparison is total shit. I'm going to be doing, using the reason why all the ad money is going online, because you could do shit like this. So you want to definitely, want to exploit it. And people aren't actually, your competitors aren't doing this exactly, but you could be, in general, you could just be obviously more targeted going online with Google and Facebook ads than you can offline. That's why all the money is going online. But you could get out ahead of everybody and actually do this to the maximum available level that's available with it and make tons of money with it. As a side, which this channel is not about offline advertising. I talk about it time to time, but on top of that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reach out to American Express, and I'm going to tap into, and because we've actually done this. You're going to tap into the data about all the people who have used our American Express cards at our competitors. I'm going to send them direct mail pieces saying why we're better. In that case, it might be a little creepy of saying why we're better in that restaurant, because they're going to think, what the fuck? How do they know that I went to this restaurant, even though it would still work? It's a little over the line at that point. People kind of expect with display ads, it can get super targeted, but with the direct mail piece, I don't know if I would necessarily want to speak on that exact competitor saying, oh, you go to Charlie's? They suck. You want to come to us instead, because I wouldn't necessarily maybe do that, but you explain why you're good. So, and then of course on the first piece that they get, they're not going to just decide right then and there, but if you send them a piece every week for the next like 3 months straight, because if you get that customer, you have like $3,000 in lifetime value, lifetime sales value or whatever, on average, it's worth it. So I would be doing that as well. And not just the online, but that's another day or another video or whatever to get into the complete details on that. But that's the general idea. This is how you actually build up a multi-million-dollar winning marketing campaign for your business. It doesn't come in just one ad. It comes in multiple ads that you build up, and you first of all think of the user, what the user wants, what the user would be helped by. Nobody gives a shit about your business if they're not looking for that at that given time. And on top of that, if I'm looking for a specific business, you better be telling me why that your business is better. Otherwise, I don't give a shit about what you're saying. And of course, if people don't give a shit about what you're saying, they're not clicking on your ads, the ROI of your campaign goes down and down and down. Because the ROI of your campaign goes up, the higher your interaction rate with your ad goes up. So you got to be thinking about how to be relevant to the person that I'm speaking to, not just randomly appearing when somebody's looking for a restaurant sort of like mine, and then that, calling that good enough. It's better than nothing, but it's really still pretty shitty in comparison to what can be done, at least. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up with that. Hopefully that put things into reference for you. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. It'll help us get the video out there to other people. And if you like the video, also consider subscribing, as we have a lot of other videos on this channel, but other money-making strategies where we give you the exact things that we're using at our PPC agency that guarantee results for our clients here, that we're testing and that we know works to you on this channel, from somebody that manages dozens of clients at any given point. We also give you the stuff that doesn't work. Stay away from that as well, like we kind of did with this channel, or what are better alternatives. So it's the best information on YouTube that you're going to find, basically. So you can take my word for that. And I also, by the way, have a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog that's authored by myself. If you haven't checked that out yet, you should look at that. There's other great information that goes more into detail on how to do some of these things I mentioned. You may also use that to make more money with your PPC campaigns. If you have any questions about anything I covered today, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. As a final note, I want to mention that we have a brand new program offering turnkey PPC campaigns, in which we offer campaigns that we've already ran for many years and have proven the results thereof and know the results thereof, where you could use the same exact campaigns. We got millions of dollars of results in a market like foundation repair, in another market, another geographic market that doesn't compete with a certain client that we've had in the past or have now, and get the same results they're getting in another market, to where you, like we've had at our agency, want to start up a similar business in another market that won't never compete with the client that we have or had or in the past in that other market, and get the same results they're getting in that market, enough of which where you don't even have to necessarily do the work, because the campaign's profitable enough that people will take our campaign templates, mark up the service 10%, take 10% for themselves, outsource all the work, and they've got a business model that works just from doing that, a website and our campaigns, and somebody else doing all the work. So if you're looking to, you're struggling in your market, that would be a great way for you to just find a business that's going to finally work for you. We may have a campaign that we've already got the results in by, working with a client in that industry for many, many years, and know the results of those campaigns that we have in that market. And we can get you the exact campaigns that we're using for that market as well. Basically, you just have to reach out to us and let us know what markets you're interested in. We'll let you know the results we can get in those markets. And then so with that, you could either hire us, or you could just literally use the campaign templates, and we sell just those, and landing page templates to go along with it. We also have stuff in like the e-commerce space that if you're in one, country, you want to sell stuff in one country, whereas our clients in another country, you guys are never going to cross paths. You could do the same thing there for a business idea. So anyway, just some general thoughts here on what we have available as well, in case you're not looking for full PPC management. At our firm, we offer that as well. I'll wrap it up with that. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope to see you on my next video where we have another great strategy for you. See you there.